Variety reports that the movie business was excellent this year, right up to Labor Day. But
this is one of the first news pieces I did after Channel 7 News miraculously hired me as a reporter back in 1981. Golly, I had hair, I had a tan, I had, well, half a body. And here I am today. Only today, I have something I would have never dreamed about 10 years ago. I have AIDS. Gosh, the change looks grim. I'm down 55 pounds since April. It's called wasting syndrome. And this is the face of AIDS. And these are some holiday photos I didn't send the folks. Well, we at Channel 7 are inviting you to come along with me on my journey. On Paul Wynn's Journal, we'll explore the fears and triumphs and terrors of living and prospering with HIV infection. You know, I'm not political, and I'm certainly not courageous. What I am is ill, and I'm doing the best I can, which is pretty darn good. Thank you very much. And I'd like to help others, too. I'm going to tell you stories. I want to tell you about the day that I found out I had it. I went home and ordered a large pepperoni pizza sent over. About the day I told my parents I had AIDS. And when you hear this chicken scream when he gets the hypo in the you-know-where. It took me a long time to decide whether or not to spill all of this to you, and I finally decided I was going to do it because there are people out there who don't even know me, but now hate me because I carry the virus. Well, I'm here doing this for 3 reasons. First, a California poll a couple weeks ago reported that 87% of Californians would be afraid to work side by side next to a person with AIDS. Dummies. But you know something? I'm doing this for them, too. Reason number 2. After 9 agonizing years of studying what is the most studied virus of the century, its control isn't quite here yet, but it is at hand. And so, for those people who didn't make it, good, kind, intelligent people who left their bodies, well, this journal's for them. And number 3, I'm doing this for people who think they may be at risk. I volunteer on the AIDS Foundation hotline, and I get calls all the time from people who are too scared to go get the antibodies test. I understand, but if there's one thing that the long-term survivor studies have told us, it's that early intervention can slow and sometimes even prevent full-blown AIDS from developing. Okay, I lied to you. I said I had 3 reasons that I was doing this journal, and actually I have a whole broken heart filled with them. One of them is the religious zealots who will be furious that I'm here. That alone will keep me alive and kicking for at least another year. Finally, for those of you who've watched me on San Francisco television over the years, starting at Channel 9 and PM Magazine and Evening Magazine, here on Channel 7 News, glad to see you again. And if you think you don't know anybody with AIDS, you do now. I want to tell you a wonderful and wicked story. A friend of mine owns a small to medium-sized advertising agency. He really only has one major client, and that client supports 90% of the agency. The client invites my friend and my friend's male friend to a big fancy dinner party at a mansion in one of the most exclusive parts of town. They go, they enjoy aperitifs, they enjoy wine, and then everyone is invited in to dinner. As the dinner party went into the dining room, suddenly our hostess spies the 2 single gentlemen. She grabs a hold of them and escorts them down to the end of the table, past the fine Georgian antique silver and the beautiful Limoges china and the Lalique crystal. And she seats the two guys down at the end of the table. And there for them, 2 paper plates, 2 plastic forks, 2 plastic cups. Now, these guys didn't have AIDS. I don't even know if they were antibody positive. Did she think that their silverware would contaminate her dishwasher? And how about that business client not warning them? Should they have said to him, "You stupid, ignorant man, good night," and lost their biggest client? It's kind of a Lady in the Tiger story, isn't it? And what would you have done? Would you have done the courageous thing, or would you have said, "Please pass the mashed potatoes"? To let you know, my friend said, "Please pass the mashed potatoes." Well, to our good health. I want to show you a place where I spend a lot of my time. It's a special place, the Veterans Administration Hospital, Fort Miley, San Francisco. I owe them my life. I served in the Army during the Vietnam War years. I hated it. But now I'm ill and in reduced financial circumstances, and this place took me in, as they will with any Vietnam veteran. And all the private insurance companies went faster than fast in turning me down for coverage. AIDS is a $50,000 a year illness, minimum. I'm often out here 4 of the 5 days of the week for treatment. I think this place is one of the most beautiful in all of San Francisco. You know, there really are places on this earth that are holy and timeless. We're at one of the highest points in the city of San Francisco. We're at the tip of a peninsula, at the edge of a continent. We're surrounded on 3 sides by ocean and bay and fog. And we're very near the place where the original expedition that founded the city of San Francisco arrived in 1774. And what do you think of this hospital building? I mean, this is right out of Hospital Central Casting. They should do a soap opera here. This hospital was built in the 1930s. It was designed in the, let me get this right now, California Eclectic Art Deco Mayan design. Hey, we all knew that, didn't we? And it even has a corral. There really is something spiritual out here, and quiet, and healing. Nobody should have to have the HIV infection. But if you do, this is a place to come for strength inside the hospital and outside too. Back just a few months ago, I was a real skeleton. I was practically a walking cadaver. I was down to 129 pounds. Now, I'm 6'1" and a lifelong 184 pounds. It made walking just a few blocks very difficult. I had to lean against the wall to pull my pants on. I also have neuropathy. I'm numb from just about the waist down. And this is a double whammy that makes even something like stepping up on a curb a real challenge. You know, I never can quite manage to get across a 3 or 4 lane street before the light changes and the cars start streaming through, rolling down their windows and shouting obscenities at me like, "Are you on vacation in the middle of the street?" And then comes the real challenge, the curb. Now what I have to do is think about it, very quickly put one foot up, prop myself up, get up here, straighten up, and quickly peek to see if anybody is watching me. Well, after the curb episode, the doctor said to me, "Paul, maybe it's time for you to consider using a cane." Not on your life. Well, it might prevent a fall, they said, but it would also be a reminder to me of my own physical inability to control my body. It would remind me every minute, every second of my physical disability. Let's up the ante. Let's say you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s and you're HIV positive and you need a walker, a big, bulky stainless steel device. Prosthetics professionals say this is the hardest sell of all, and if you don't really need one of these, the patient will not accept it. It's another reminder that if you have HIV, you are old. A wheelchair. Let's face it, this one really says it right up front. This person is a cripple. And you know, the new wheelchairs are really lightweight. I mean, they used to average 45 pounds 5 years ago. Now they're down to, well, as low as 19 pounds. But you're still a cripple. Whenever I go out walking around and I see a HIV person getting a push in a wheelchair, I always like to look them in the eye and give them a smile and say, "Hi, how you doing?" But you know something? Very rarely do they smile and look back or wave. They just look straight ahead. It's as if they were sexless and no longer part of the world. Well, you know, it all comes down to weighing the pluses and minuses. Whether you want to hide in your room and watch Geraldo, or gather your cane or your walker or your wheelchair and show the world your frailties, wheel out there and let it all hang out. I don't know why some people are troubled by using tools. I know I am. It scares me. I think it's pride. But I certainly have a lot more empathy for the elderly. And it's strange to think of people with HIV infection in their 20s and 30s and 40s who no longer can do the things that everybody else does. In fact, it stinks. Okay. Well, here we are at Stars, one of the most glamorous lunch spots in town. You know, ever since I was profiled in the New York Times on page 1, thank you very much, I've had the most exciting 2 weeks of my life. Glenn Campbell used to sing the old song, Wichita Lineman, and he said, "And there are offers coming over the phone from people I don't even know." I was one, or am one, of 50,000 AIDS cases in America. Why all this attention for me? The coverage has been a boggle. Good Morning America collected me in a white stretch limousine at 5:30 a.m. E.T. Entertainment Tonight, they set me up by the Blue Bay and the Golden Gate Bridge, and, well, Mary Hart didn't come up, but maybe she couldn't get her legs uncrossed. I would like you to welcome our friends from the Japanese television who are here to record us talking to you. Let's talk about some of my special offers that have been made. CBS This Morning, they called with an offer. Newsweek, oh, okay. Check it out in the supermarket line. People magazine, I've got a photo layout. Roseanne moons her big bottom. I ain't got a bottom, but I'm in it. Oh, lordy, 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 lordy. An international tabloid called The New Paper, and their headline is, AIDS Man on TV. Seriously, look how frightened that headline is.
The Times didn't pick a bad observer. I want stable health. I want to do good work. I want my TV work to be a legacy and a history of this epidemic of our century. The Times started this feeding frenzy, and I'm going to continue it. Waiter, could I have a double cheeseburger, please, and put it on their bill? All right. I keep having a nightmare, but it's real. I park my beat-up car in long-term airport parking. I take the shuttle bus to the main terminal, facing the luggage and luggage racks. The bus driver makes a sharp turn. A man's garment bag slides to the floor. I still think I'm as strong as always. Maybe I want to believe that. I lean over to pick up the bag. Disaster. I fall. Now, nobody on the bus seems to notice. I sort of roll to a sitting position, but I don't have the thigh and calf strength to stand unaided. Now what? Embarrassment, that's what. But rescue. The chrome pole for the garment bags. I'm up, if a little down, in heart.
So, my fellow passengers, where you been?
Now, I'm nothing if not persistent. Clutching that pole like it was 24-karat gold, I retrieved the bag and gave it one more try. Yes. Yes. No. Do I look like I have AIDS? What does that look like? If somebody, anybody, a passenger recognized that gaunt, scrawny AIDS look, would they have been willing just to help me to my feet? In 9 years, AIDS hasn't affected anyone by simple casual contact, and if it could, we'd all have it. In situations like this, you can bring so much to a person with AIDS, and even more to yourself, by showing you're not afraid.
People ask me how I told my parents that I have AIDS. Well, the answer is very carefully. Our family has lived through a lot of trials. I'm 46 years old, and I'm a hard guy, and I don't plan on dying soon. My dad, well, he's buried 3 beloved wives. But after testing antibody positive and feeling my body change, I felt my family had the right to know that we might have less time together than we originally thought. At 72, Dad was a retired auto parts dealer. He'd found Eden along Oregon's Siletz River. That's a mile or so up from the Pacific Ocean. I was concerned that being of another generation and living in rural Oregon, he would be unduly alarmed. I held the phone in my sweaty palm for at least an hour, and finally, I called my late mother, and I asked her what to do. When in doubt, call Mom and ask her. I asked if she thought that, well, maybe she should prep my dad a little for bad news. I wasn't worried about his taking it, just his worrying about me. And when all 3 of us got on the extensions, there wasn't much small talk. I stressed to Dad all the government testing with the new antivirals. Looking back, I sure wish there had been some government testing of new antivirals. And I stressed my positive attitude, and looking back, I wish there'd been more of that too. I talked, he listened, he asked some questions and told me he learned a lot about AIDS. And then he pronounced, "You know, we're not ashamed of you, son." Well, real good, Dad. Thanks. Dad said, "We love you." We said goodbye and hung up. And that was it. No tears, nothing Shakespearean. Simply across a long-distance line, a family in the late 1980s telling what they had to tell. Yeah, well, okay. My friend wasn't exactly impressed. I told her that in the last decade there have been 50,000 American deaths from AIDS. Yeah, she says, we live in a violent world. I could step off the curb and get hit by a bus. That's exactly AIDS, I told her. Only AIDS is knowing you're going to get hit tomorrow, and you see the bus coming, and it's coming in slow motion. You see it coming closer and closer every day. It's just a matter of time. Maybe the hit is 2 years away. What'll it be? Pneumonia, 1.7 years. KS cancer, 10 months. Meningitis of the brain and the spine. The hit is coming. Just wait. Just wait. It's an express. And for once, the damn thing will probably be on time.
We're gonna get Wade, yes?
Okay, let's go.
Goody. All right, let's do it.
This is the moment I wait for every month. Honest. I come to the hospital to be weighed down to the gram.
Was 135?
I don't know, we can check later.
Okay. All right, here goes the true test.
Yes.
I'm one of a handful of people with HIV in this country who are taking an experimental drug called Megace. It's an appetite stimulant, a hormone found naturally in the body but synthetically produced.
I need to ask you a whole bunch of questions symptom-wise, and there is a range of 1 mild, 2 equals moderate, 3 equals severe, and 4 equals life-threatening. Fatigue?
Severe.
Severe?
Wasting is an AIDS killer. You lose and lose weight for no reason. And finally, weak and easy prey for infections.
Looks like here on Thursday you had a bagel.
Cinnamon raisin bagel toasted with butter.
I first heard about Megace in February 1989. Tip number 1 for surviving, keep bugging them. It took me till late June to be admitted to the study. Hey gang, I could have died waiting.
You got to be careful one thing about May. Never let her pull the screen around the bed because she tries to kiss you.
For this study, I drew a placebo. My weight dropped to 129.8 pounds and I'm 6 foot 1 inch tall. I had no appetite, none.
This will shut me up.
Well, that's the purpose.
And when the study ended in December, I was put on the real Megace. And in 3 months, I had gained 12 pounds on the drug. And that was through some very careful monitoring.
Now this is a kinky little procedure.
Okay, so the body composition, it looks like your percentage of body fat is 11%.
Now, I eat everything in sight, and if it's not in sight, I go look for it. And today's weigh-in day, and I know I'm up at least 5 pounds.
You weigh 141 pounds.
Oh, come on, you're trying to make me feel good.
No,
the thing
you
is,
do. You do.
So I've gained 2 pounds. I just feel, I get so scared.
You gained 2 pounds, 38
Yeah.
to 41.
I've just been such a
Actually,
skeleton.
more than 2 pounds, 3 pounds.
I've been a skeleton and a cadaver, and I don't want to ever go back to that. And
No, you're
this is
slowly
my
gaining.
this
You are
is my
slowly
hope.
gaining.
I know. It's just.
Look, I'll
May,
tell-
I want you to understand.
I
want you to
I know, I
understand. This
understand.
is the high point of my month. It is not getting my paycheck. It is not going for a ride. It is not a hot date. It is, have I gained a few pounds
You
from
have.
Megace so that I'm a little stronger, a little able to fight off infection.
Mm-hmm.
And this is so important to me.
3 lousy pounds? I should be glad. I'm not. I don't know, sometimes even good news sounds disappointing.
They sure know how to show a guy a good time.
Well, so, onward. Where could you get some lunch around here? You know, we never get real letters anymore. We get bills, of course, and direct mail solicitations and supermarket flyers and coupons. But since my journal has begun, I have gotten hundreds and hundreds of letters. Most are simple, touching, and full of feeling, sometimes from the most surprising people. Who? Christians. I was so sure that I was going to get stacks of mail from fundamentalist Christians condemning me, but I have gotten so many letters from Christians saying they're praying and supporting me, and that it's not their job to condemn, it's their job to love, and that I should just keep on keeping on. I get letters from families grieving. They've lost a son or a daughter or a baby to AIDS and just want to say a few words to me. I get letters from people with HIV and they're encouraged just to hear and see positive images of themselves on television. By the same token, I get letters from folks previously untouched by the illness, and to hear the thanks of someone who's made a little more aware and compassionate, that is human, is beautiful. I love all the positive letters. Your thoughts really sustain me. This letter is from Renee of San Francisco. Renee, your handwriting is as bad as mine, but the thought is terrific. Rest, take care of yourself, baby yourself, pamper yourself, be good to yourself, say nice things to yourself, be kind to yourself, look up to yourself, overlook yourself, accept yourself, congratulate yourself, glad hand yourself, and humor yourself. Terrific. Kay wrote with a beautiful card, and she thanked me. Oh my goodness, she thanked me for giving AIDS people a face and a heart and a soul. She says, may your spirits soar high and gentle breezes give you soft landings. And I mentioned how smart you people are. Hear the words of this gentleman from Aptos, California. But when you're depressed or not feeling prosperous, show us that too. You've got a rare forum. You know that. Bring us yourself, not Mr. HIV. I really love the beautiful cards. I mean, they cheer me up enormously. Like this one. And then there is the hate mail. You know, I've received hundreds and hundreds of letters since the journal began, and only a couple of the letters have been hate mail from bigoted or disturbed souls. But Sarah, a lady who lives in Pennsylvania, put it well. My brother is living with a man with AIDS. My own sister doesn't want her family to see my brother or his lover. Remember, for every negative letter you receive, there must be 10 silent, positive people, and at least I'm no longer silent. So, if you know someone with HIV infection, or a shut-in, or just anybody nice, why don't you drop them a note today and say, how you doing, old friend? It may make their day. Now here's a room you often don't see on TV. You know, when the AIDS epidemic first started, the doctors were really feeling their way along. They gave us what treatments they could. Some worked a little bit, some worked just in time. I saved all of my pills in a shopping bag under the sink, and here is a look at Paul's parade of potions. Ampicillin, an antibiotic for something mean and sore, gave me a rash on my face, and that was serious. Amitriptyline, it's fun to say, an antidepressant as a painkiller. That didn't work either. Beckinase, an inhaler for chronic sinusitis. Didn't work. Fun to squirt. And here's codeine, narcotic. Stops pain, but yuck, I'll never use narcotics again. I'd rather have the pain, or so I say now. Debrox removes earwax. Desenex athlete's foot, and Eucerin is for dry skin. Just to let you know, we get nitsy stuff too.
Hydroxyzine hydrochloride. Starts out sounding like a cookie and winds up sounding like a bathroom cleanser.
Lidocaine, 2%. Topical painkiller. Gargle and the pain's gone for 5 minutes, and sometimes you'd give all just for that. Nasal chrome. Real high-techy little piece of packaging. And then there's, well, some sort of 5% gel for a lesion. Lesion. It must be one of the ugliest words in the English language. Wella Balsam Color Charm, ash blonde coloring. Must be a sample of a new kind of antibiotic. Septra, powerful antibiotic. They use it against pneumonia. Been around a long time. It still works, and glad we have it. And Xanax, anti-anxiety drug, the Valium of the 80s, the 4th most prescribed drug last year. Doctor says, no, it's not addictive. Much. Pills, 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 pills. For me, the past 2 years have brought it down to 4 medicines. AZT, which slows the virus, and I breathe in a mist called aerosolized pentamidine, which virtually stops the AIDS pneumonia, and a couple of painkillers for the nerve damage in my legs. They're called disipramine and clonazepam. I hope that anyone who thinks they might be potentially positive considers taking the antibodies test. Don't let any pinhead tell you, well, they can't treat AIDS. They're doing more and better with less. And finally, I have been trying to convince the doctors to start full-scale testing of my mother's chocolate chip Toll House cookies as a potential cure. No placebos. I've been planning my own AIDS memorial service. Now, my brother howled the other night when I told him about this on the phone. That's what preachers are for, he said. I disagree. And I hope you disagree, too. I think that friends should gather to grieve. I've been to memorial services where it's turned into too much of a party. Would you like another hors d'oeuvre? And I still think you can have a memorial service with a smile. And so, voila. I'm going to find just the right tone for my party, and here's what I want. My friends together, even the ones with whom I've quarreled. A beautiful room, music clear and high, and finally, to feature Billie Holiday. And God bless the child. You'll understand, though, this time, by necessity, it's a no-host bar. That's my little joke. My mini Broadway musical is going to be wonderful. It's going to touch the soul. It will be funny. I'm going to get some of my hysterical, funny friends to recall some of the scandals and lies from my past. There were a few scandals and lies in my past, but I want to show the other side of funny, poignant. I have, I think, a poetic side, and I'd like a serious friend to talk about me for a minute or two seriously. A serious friend to say so long. The end. It'll be very short, a short service. In show business, I've always been a supporting player. I get on, be brief, and get off. Oh yes, one last thing. I want a full house. If you have to, hire them and dress fun. And hear me when I say this to you. It's been a joy knowing all of you. Then, now, everybody out for ice cream.
And yeah, it's on me. Seems like every couple of weeks, the doctors or my own body take away another big or small pleasure. Don't drive your car anymore. Nerve damage in the legs. Your fat content is too high. Forget the pasta with butter and cheese and skip the Haagen-Dazs ice cream. The nerve damage is creeping into my hands, and my handwriting looks like a fourth grader's scrawl. Doctor says, always use your cane. And on. Taken from me my looks and body, my sexuality, my mobility, and something else. Oh yes, my memory. And now, my lawyer has jumped in, Big Jim Molesky. He says that I should have my will done, signed, sealed, and delivered. And if I don't, well, then the judge might just give it away, and who knows who gets what. Actually, my estate, my so-called estate, consists of a few pieces of household furniture, a little bit of money in my checking account, and a 1979 Audi with rust spots on the top. But I do have some art pieces, antiques that have escaped being sold off in leaner times. I love art. I've schemed for it at auction house triumphs and made out real good at Christmas time. My collection. And at first, I thought it'd be kind of nice, you know, bequests to friends. What a pretty vase. Thank you. It was left to me by an old friend a long time ago. Wrong. These treasures are mine. I don't want to give them away. This 19th century Chinese vase, for example, it made it through wars and revolutions. It made it over the Pacific crossing. It made it through 90 years of this century, and I've been its steward, its caretaker. I'm not greedy, but after having, had so much taken away so quickly lately, now I'm ordered to, choose my most treasured possessions, what I must give away. The pain is doubled. I guess the truth is, it's another message for me that my life may be winding down. And I don't like that. Today, here are some possibly rude answers to some possibly rude questions.
How'd you get it?
Beats me.
Does it hurt?
What do you think?
Are you scared?
What do you think?
Isn't it your own fault?
Drop dead.
Will you die soon?
I'm too mean.
Will you die soon?
Probably.
Does your family support you?
Always. Always.
What about sex?
Well, thanks, but I don't think we should.
What's helped you make it through?
The usual. Good friends, good doctors, and Haagen-Dazs rum raisin ice cream.
Are people afraid to be near you?
Only after my special pesto sauce.
Seriously.
Seriously, I've received more hugs since my diagnosis than over my entire life. I hate hugs.
Ever feel like just quitting?
No.
Pocket J Squirrel here. Actually, it's just me, Paul. In the hospital. Sure surprised me. I never thought I'd get HIV. I never thought I'd get ARC. I never thought I'd get AIDS. I never thought I'd come into the hospital. But I have. You stay out of here. I thought you might like to see the swell accommodations that they give to a star of my caliber. Now, take a look at this. Somebody thought of painting the room beige. And someone thought of color coordinating my PJs with the room. And Naugahyde furniture. Ah! And how about up on the wall? Have you ever figured out what all those dials and plugs and switches are for? Never. And then we come to the most thrilling tribute of all. Hospital food. My worst nightmares have come true. They've sent me here to eat. Hospital food. Double portions. When I first came into the hospital, the doctors told me that I wasn't taking in enough calories to sustain me even if I were in a coma. So they said, drink at least 6 cans of this nutrient supplement every day. I've been doing it. Hope it doesn't cause cancer. I happen to know the New York Times food critic dined here once and called this food unforgettable.
Unforgettable. That's what you are. Unforgettable. Though near or far.
Hey, to everybody in the kitchen and the nutritional department here at the hospital, I'm only kidding about the food. You have been treating me super and bringing me back to health. I guess I needed an easy target this week for my journal because it was a little weak, and so am I. Candlestick Park, it seats over 50,000 people, and yet that's not enough to seat all the people who have died of AIDS in the past decade, 58,000. I was thinking about baseball and AIDS a couple months ago. I was in my doctor's office, and I asked him, do I have AIDS? And he says, why, do you want to? I said, I want to know where I am in the spectrum of things. And he says, you know, you remember the old ball player Satchel Paige? Allegedly, he pitched in the majors into his 60s. And he once said, how old would you be if you didn't know how old you were? And it's the same thing about AIDS. The average time from diagnosis to mortality for white males is just over a year and a half. So if you're not labeled, the clock isn't ticking. In essence, you don't know how old you are. Thanks, Satchel Paige, for a little help with AIDS. See you next time. God, I can hardly wait to find out what I'm going to say.
Me either. I'm We're ready, Miss
Mm-hmm. I came here today to tell you goodbye. To quit. This will be the last Paul Wynne's journal. No, but very close to it. When I started the journal in January 6 months ago, I thought I had a year left, a good stable year, and that hasn't proven the case. I'm very sick, and I'm very weak. My life is very joyless, and I'm very scared. I no longer feel that I have the will and the strength and the clarity to continue on with the journal. I don't want to insult you by giving you second-rate material or just filling up 90 seconds.
And so I feel the time has come perhaps to consider saying so long for a while. No, I will not give up. I will not give up. It's too important to me to be back in television, just for me, to be back in television, to be working with my colleagues and to be doing TV. And it's too important that information about HIV reach the air. So I'm going to continue with this stuff for a while. But I want you to know, if I'm not as physically active, and if maybe they aren't all as full of pizzazz as they used to be, I want you to know why. I am very, very sick. I get lots of kudos in the newspapers about how brave I am. I was so sick and laying on the bed yesterday and couldn't eat, and all those fine words, they didn't count for nothing. I was sick and scared, tired. But we'll both do our best. And for Paul Winthrop Journal, we'll see you next time. Look at those eyes. You know, I'm always telling people that HIV is a disease of surprises. I have seen personally a fellow in the intensive care unit with his family gathered around, and the next day he's out taking a walk. Well, nature decided, Paul, we're going to have a little surprise for you. So it was about a week ago I went into the hospital for what I thought was an ordinary checkup, home in an hour. Wrong, I was kidnapped. Within an hour, I had an IV up my vein. I was getting blood transfusions. I was getting a CAT scan. I was getting gastrointestinal x-rays. I was getting every 4-hour blood viral tests. And at the end of the week, I was getting this. Well, it may not be a Porsche 911, but it's all mine in Darth Vader black. How about that? A wheelchair. I can no longer walk. A couple months ago on the Journal, I did a piece on walkers and canes and wheelchairs, and wondering how relatively young people can deal emotionally with that. Well, I'm relatively young, and let me tell you, I can deal with it real easy. Yesterday, I was walking down the sidewalk. I'd been to lunch with a friend, and he had me by one arm, and all of a sudden my feet just went out from under me, and we both went down, and I smashed my knuckles and scared myself to death. That's the last walk I'll ever take unaided. I don't mind that wheelchair. It'll get me out and around. Life is about internal things, about love and about friends and getting along, and not about what kind of conveyance you get along in. So I move into my wheelchair phase, and if you see me rolling down the street, recognize me. Well, I've missed you. I really have. I need to at least imagine your happy faces, and this won't be any great epic, but it's just my chance to say hello. I'm doing better. I'm in the hospital. Went through a bad spell Saturday night when I checked in. I wondered if I shouldn't let life slip away, if it wasn't time. But I couldn't let life slip away, whatever that means, happen in a sterile hospital with strange noises in the night. So I'm just hopping along, singing a song, and
Just wanted to let you see my face. See that I'm still in there pitching. And I promise you very much, that I'm going to get better. And we'll do some truly outrageous things. The journal lives. And so do I. Well, greetings from San Francisco from Mr. Age Sickey himself. We're so thrilled to have you here. All the infighting and outfighting, and now it turns out to be a wonderful, glorious, spectacular day in a wonderful, spectacular city. And I hope we can lay aside differences and get back to what's really important, and that's helping people who are hurting to feel better. We're very, 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 very glad to have you here. Stay, talk, enjoy, have something good to eat, exchange some wonderful ideas, and come up with some treatments that are going to help people. Welcome, welcome to the San Francisco AIDS Conference.